to those of you who earn a good salary in a low stress job. What do you do? Summer job. I was a tree planter all through 9 years of school. After a few summers experience I was making about $16k and spending almost nothing in 2 months. If you can handle the weather and have the right attitude, it was no stress at all. Wake up, eat, put trees in the ground, eat, sleep, repeat. Now that I have a master's and 15 years experience in my real job, I still don't make quite as much as I did back then. Edit for those interested. I spent 5 summers in Ontario and 4 in BC. Don't go to on much worse conditions and lower tree prices, but I still made $5k in 2 months my first summer. 98. Pretty good compared to anything I could have done in the city. The southern interior of BC is where it's at. Good weather, laid back atmosphere, at least on my crew, and beautiful scenery. You get paid per tree. 7.5 to 32 cents per tree was the range I saw throughout my career. So the more you plant, read, harder you work, the more you make. There's a pretty steep learning curve, so your first year or 2 you will feel like you're busting your ass for peanuts and swear the vets are cheating to be putting in the numbers they claim. It gets much better with experience. The type of tree and land you're planting affect the price. Just because you are getting a high price per tree doesn't mean you are making the most $. Sometimes I'd be excited to bend over for 20 cyan, but not want to get out of bed for 32 c. It's not for everyone, as you are normally living in the bush with other like-minded individuals for days, weeks on end. Google silviculture for more information. I guess my job is not low stress or high paying to most people, but it checks both boxes for me as a single 24-year-old male. I work rural EMS in Canada. My schedule is 96 hours on followed by 96 hours off. In other words, I work for 4 straight days and then get 4 days off. I live in a big city, but the town that I work in is 1 hour and 40 minutes away. So my commute is not terrible when you consider that I only need to make the drive once every 4 days. When I'm actually at work, I can do whatever I want as long as we don't get a call. My company sets us up with a nice staff house, satellite TV, Wi-Fi, and a decent gym. I spend my days playing video games with my coworkers. There are 4 of us on shift, watching TV/movies, cooking, eating, working out, taking a nap, shooting the sheet with my coworkers, etc. If we do get a call, we have 8 minutes to respond. So I can lounge around in pajamas all day if I want, and if I need to run an errand in town I can usually get it done without getting more than 8 minutes away from the station. The calls can be kind of shitty, lots of highway accidents and farming accidents, but I find the really shitty ones are few and far between. Most calls are just driving people who don't feel well to the hospital. But I do enjoy the tough calls because they challenge me to make quick decisions and use my skills. In 96 hours we usually average about 5 to 6 calls. However, I have literally worked 96 hours without a single call on more than one occasion. Regardless, I never take the work home with me. I make around $70,000 per year with good benefits, and there are lots of opportunities to pick up extra shifts, which are paid at double time. Senior accountant for an oil gas company. It is kind of a small family operated company. The president of the company takes very good care of the employees and their families in terms of compensation, bonuses, and benefits. Unlike other larger oil and gas companies that been hit hard in recent years, this one is still very much in the black. Make no mistake, the actual work is very busy and fast paced. My career has advanced pretty fast here, going from knowing nothing about oil and gas industry to being one of the 3 most senior accountants here in just a few short years. Always something new to learn and skills to advance. Really, it's not just the career role itself that makes it low stress, but the place you work as well. The respect the company and people here have for each other is a rare find. Everyone loves their job and the company is always pushing and making good on the ideal that employees are their biggest asset. Both people above and below me are highly talented, respectful, and very easy to work with. I have to work a weekend every once in a while from home just to be sure my duties are done to the best of my ability. However, for the most part, I go in at 8 AM, leave at 5 PM, and my job ends there. Very flexible, can work from home or leave early. The trust here, that everyone is busting ass, if a big part of that point dream job, after years of sheet jobs inside and outside the field after graduating college. Got really lucky. Just so you know, low stress does not always equate to low effort. Anyway, my official job title is senior producer, but it should probably be wearer of many hats. In a given day, I write, shoot, edit, and produce between 7 and 12 unique videos, along with all of the associated assets, splash screens, and tie-in media. Said videos are then published to a handful of sites, after which I prepare and disseminate just over a dozen newsletters. Once that part is finished, I do back-end maintenance on a few of the pages in question, followed by some light community management. If I'm lucky, I'll get 15 minutes to rush out, grab lunch, and make my way back to the studio, after which I'll devote myself to editing the stories that our writers put together. That's followed by a focus on whatever one-off projects might be in the pipeline, which usually includes a fair amount of asset creation or adjustment, and a final look at the documentation associated with any of the above endeavors, which I'll update as necessary. When I finally leave at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. It's a lot of work, but I'm happy with the fact that I have creative control, and I'm pleased to be making something with an immediately visible end result, and most importantly of all, I'm not bored. For me, at least, there's nothing more stressful than boredom. TLDR, I'm an overworked producer who likes to stay busy. I work as a landman in the oil and gas industry. While that title is sort of all-inclusive and covers a ton of different jobs, I spend most of my time researching the history of property to see who has owned it for the past 150 years and what they've done with it, their mortgages, oil and gas leases, easements, etc. Oil and gas companies want this information so they can determine who to lease/pay when they drill for oil. All of this information is available in county courthouses, so I spend about half of my time there reading old documents. The rest of the time, I'm able to work from home. It's a very chill job. I don't really have a boss. No one really bothers me when I'm working, and courthouses can be almost like libraries sometimes. It's also a very rewarding job because you're sort of figuring out a puzzle and get to see something through to completion before moving on to your next project. There are sometimes deadlines and priorities, but they are never too bad for me, and I always hit them. It can also get stressful when there's no work or you have to move around, but I still think it's worth it. Generally, most people have a degree, but not always. It's very much an industry that still relies heavily on networking, and I know several people who do what I do and make great money without a degree. I've made over $100K/year for about 5 years now, and I've only been doing it for 7. If anyone is curious about becoming a landman, feel free to PM me. I'm self-employed, but I guess it still counts. I help small to mid-sized companies to grow their business online, both strategically and operatively. The requirement is that they already have a decent revenue stream and profit. Then my recipe is very simple. Revamp their website, build content, like blog posts/landing pages, to get more organic traffic plus buy ads. If the data shows it's profitable, the demand is so high that I have set up 4 rules. 1. There shall be no demand that I'm physically present. 2. Clients shall not tell me how many hours I need to work. They should be happy for the hours I allocate for them. 3. There shall be no deadlines. 4. I only take projects that I find fun. I can work from wherever I want, whenever I want, as long as I have some electricity and an internet connection. My clients are happy because I bring in good results that cover whatever they pay me. Some of my clients have internal statements saying, "We put our employees' well-being before business." So I never have to feel bad if I take a day off to do something I like. They rather encourage me to do it. I could easily work 300%, but I choose to work half-time. At this point I should hire more people, and I probably will, but I enjoy my freedom a bit too much still. I work as a sales rep for one of the major tobacco companies. Pay starts around $50K, non-commission, with amazing health, both mental and physical, dental, vision, and life insurance benefits. Plus, you get a free company car that is completely paid for and maintained by our partner fleet company, and every time you hit 70k miles, bam, new car. You even get to pick the color. 2. Your day starts as soon as you get to your first account, which should be 8 am, but if you are a little late, no big deal. Your day ends at 4:30 pm, 3:30 on Friday, and nobody bothers you to do extra work in the evening or weekends. If lunch goes long, again, no big deal. 3. This is the best part, you maybe see your division manager twice or 3 times a month. Most contact is done over the phone, and it is not uncommon to go a few days without hearing from him/her. This means that no one is hanging over your shoulder, monitoring your behavior, or scrutinizing your work habits. 4. It's non-commission based outside sales, so there is no quota, and you hardly do any selling, because the retailers already want what the company is making. It also means you don't have to be the typical loudmouth salesman type in order to do well in the business. I'm the furthest from it, and have been with company for nearly 4 years. All the company wants is for you to show up and put in work. I have never come home feeling bitter or exhausted, and always have energy for fun. If you can get past working for a tobacco company, I don't smoke, then you can have one of the easiest, most secure jobs in the world. Flight attendant, especially for a major airline. I've been one with Delta for a few years now. On domestic trips, you could be doing 1 to 4 flights in a day, but not a whole lot of work on the plane. Drinks, snacks, pick up trash, you're done. International, 1 leg, 24 hours, sometimes more, 1 leg back. You're paid to take a vacation abroad. I've been to 42 countries with this job. Some of my favorites: Tokyo, Seoul, Guam, Bangkok, Amsterdam, Paris, Tel Aviv, Mumbai, Rome and Milan. You stay at a really nice hotel on the company's dime. Point getting in can be tough. When I got hired, 124k plus people applied for 1600 positions, and training is 8 weeks, 10 hours a day/6 days a week, and you have to go get certified every year. Apart from this, you don't take any stress home. Once you get off the plane, you're done worrying about responsibilities. And the flexibility is insane. I usually get scheduled around 1,216 of work a month. If you know how to bid, then all in a row. Rest of the time, I can do whatever, either go on a vacation every month or pick up extra trips to make more money. And you can move/swap/drop trips around and give yourself as much time as you want. Because of this, I work with people who commute from all over the world. This one guy I work with is based in New York City, lives in Cape Town. Requirements: be legally eligible to work in the US, at least 21 at the end of training, no maximum age, be able to close overhead bins on a wide body, like a B767. I guess you need to be at least 5 feet 2 inches, and a high school diploma. A degree is not required, but if you have a nursing degree, it helps greatly. Also, speaking additional languages is a major plus. And, for some reason, if you've worked at Disney, you've got a great chance. Point at it. Compensation info: pay is pretty good, but not for the first year. It gets better. Right now, with a few years in, I make close to $40/flight hour, scheduled 80 hours/month, plus I pick up trips, to end up at around $140. Maximum goes to around $65. You're considered full-time, and get health plus vacation plus $401k. Late to the party, and it isn't exactly what people would call good salary, but it's entry level, low stress, and you only need a high school education. I've been able to find jobs like this for some time actually. I'm able to almost guarantee that I'm able to get days off that I want on vacation time, and haven't really had money issues unless I go on a spending spree for some reason. Point: security guard doing flex shift work. Made anywhere between $15-$18/HR, and was guaranteed 40 hours a week. Meaning that if they didn't have anyone call out, or I didn't work a site all week, I'd still get 40 hours on my check. I was still able to do overtime if it was needed. Only stressful part was learning all of the sites in the area and being on call. Most of the sites were literally sitting there doing nothing. Though point: butcher shop, meat cutter. I did this for a year and miss it. We barely interacted with the customers. Just sat at our block and cut meat. Was making about $13/HR for that. Did for 32 hours a week while doing one of the easy security shifts previously mentioned. Global phone concierge. I'm currently doing this and working overnights. I sit down, wait for a call, and then help someone do something that they could probably just do on their smartphone. I work with my girlfriend, make about $3/HR more than the other shifts that do way more work, and end up going home without worry about anything. The only stressful part is when something goes horribly wrong. Natural disasters, terrorist attacks, government coups, etc. And even then it's a matter of just getting that person out of the area. Making $15/HR do sit on Reddit and watch YouTube in an area where minimum wage is like $7.50 per hour. This isn't a definition of the question, but just wanting to put out some more than minimum wage and less stressful than fast food jobs for anyone that doesn't have a craft skill or college degree.